Hello, BookTube. Welcome back to the History Shelf. I am your host, Peg. Today is a quick, short video highlighting some recent New York Review of Books classics that I picked up from a recent flash sale that they have maybe twice a year. I feel like, or maybe it's just once a year. But I have a collection going of their some of their most eclectic and history titles, literature, memoirs, essays, just a lovely assortment of books in really beautiful editions. And so I picked up some more that I've been meaning to get to round out my library collection, and I thought I'd share them with you. Should be a quick video. This shipment was six books. And actually, I'm making another video very soon of another sale that the Harvard bookstore, they had a flash sale, which another booktuber clued me in on. Thank you, John David. So I'll be doing a separate video of the books I collected at the Harvard bookstore. It was an online flash sale, and it was ridiculous. It was such a steal. And they had New York Review of Books classics. I can never say that. NYRB, the NYRB classics. And so I picked up four more from the Harvard bookstore sale, but that's in another video. It will be coming soon. So let's just dive into what I ordered directly from the NYRB site. The first one is a novel about World War I, which I'm very excited for. I'm doing a buddy read with Bill Rutenberg, another booktuber at the Rutenberg Library. We're reading Max Hastings' Catastrophe, 1914. So this is going to be a nice fictional kind of companion piece. I probably will read it after I finish reading the Hastings book, just because there's a lot of information we're going through. But I picked up this book here, Fear, by Gabriel Chevalier, introduction by John Berger. Not too big of a book. And it's translated from the French by Malcolm Imrie. So let's go ahead and I'll give you a little rundown on this. I had never heard of this before. I've read several novels set in World War I, but I've never heard of this one. So let's take a look here. 1915. Jean Dartmouth heads off to the Great War, an eager conscript. The only thing he fears is missing the action. Soon, however, the vaunted war to end all wars seems like a war that will never end. Whether mired in the trenches or going over the top, Jean finds himself caught in the midst of an unimaginable, unceasing slaughter. After he is wounded, he returns from the front to discover a world where no one knows or wants to know any of this. Both the public and the authorities go on talking about heroes and sending more men to their graves. But Jean refuses to keep silent. He will speak the forbidden word. He will tell them about fear. John Berger has called Fear a book of the utmost urgency and relevance. A literary masterpiece, it is also an essential and unforgettable reckoning with the terrible war that gave birth to a century of war. So if you have watched this channel for a long time, you know this is perfect for Peg. I've always wanted to get into the psychology of how soldiers have dealt with war, both pre, during, and after. That's probably why I read so many military memoirs. But fear, one of the many emotions that those in combat grapple with, has always just been fascinating to me, just the psychological ramifications of being in a situation where literally it's like a scene from, hell, like Dante's hell, what is it like? And, you'd never really want to experience it, but some people have, and they have left us works of art to kind of, hold our hand through the process. So Fear, a novel of World War I by Gabriel Chevalier, and it's translated from the French. So it's fairly happy to pick that up during the sale. The next couple of books are by an author I've been collecting. Actually, three. Yes. Thanks to Johnny Keene on Johnny Keene's channel, a couple of years ago, I learned about Victor Surge, and And Johnny had been reading Victor Surge's books in these collections for a while, and so I picked up a couple of his works. I think I have the Memoirs of a Revolutionary. I've got that one. I have not started that one yet, but I plan on it. I'm trying to figure out which ones to read first. Ow, now I'm just realizing this one has a little bit of a dent, but that's okay. The page is still open in the beginning. That's all that matters. Well, I picked up Notebooks, 1936 to 1947. It's translated by Mitchell Abador and Richard Grieman. This one's a nice thick book there, so I'll read this out to you. In 1936, Victor Serge, poet, novelist, and revolutionary, left the Soviet Union for Paris, the rare opponent of Stalin to escape the terror. In 1940, after the Nazis marched into Paris, Serge fled France for Mexico, where he would spend the rest of his life. His years in Mexico were marked by isolation, poverty, peril, and grief. His notebooks, however, brim with resilience, curiosity, outrage, a passionate love of life, and superb writing. Serge paints haunting portraits of Osip Mandelstam, Stefan Zweig, and the old man Trotsky. Argues with Andre Breton, and I think Breton was he was a Dadaist, right, or Dada. He was in the Dada movement, I believe. And awaiting his wife's delayed arrival from Europe, writes her passionate love letters. He describes the sweep of the Mexican landscape, visits an erupting volcano, and immerses himself in the country's history and culture. He looks back on his life and the fate of the revolution. He broods on the course of the war and the world to come after. In the darkest of circumstances, he responds imaginatively, thinks critically, feels deeply, and finds reason to hope. Serge's notebooks were discovered in 2010 and appear here for the first time in their entirety in English. They are a message in a bottle from one of the great spirits and great writers of our shipwrecked time. So I think I think I'll probably start with Memoirs of a Revolutionary. Yes. And then this one picks up after that. So this, I'm really glad I could pick this. Focus. To kind of round that out. And look at that artwork. Oh, who is that? It's probably will say here in the cover, or well, maybe this. What is this artwork on the front? It does not say easily, but I can find out. All right, anyway, so then I picked up another one by Victor Serge. I think one of these is the newest version of his works in the NYRB series. It might be this one. Maybe not. Okay, but either way, and then I picked up Concord City by Victor Serge, translated by Richard Grieman. This one's about a slim volume. It says here, this one goes back in time. 1919 to 1920, St. Petersburg, city of the czars, has fallen to the revolution. Camped out in the splendid palaces of the former regime, the city's new masters seek to cement their control, even as the counter-revolutionary White Army regroups. Concord City, Victor Serge's most unrelenting narrative, is structured like a detective story, one in which the new political regime tracks down and eliminates its enemies, the spies, speculators, and traitors hidden among the mass of common people. Concord City is about terror. The Red Terror and the White Terror, but mainly about the Red, the communists who have dared to pick up the weapons of power, police, guns, jails, spies, treachery, in the doomed gamble that by wielding them righteously, they can put an end to the need for terror, perhaps forever. Wrong. Sorry, that was me. Concord City is their tragedy and testament. So that sounded, again, something that I would want to read. You know, I'm just darkly fascinated by, the Bolsheviks, the terror, the Russian Revolution, the rise of communism, totalitarianism, all that kind of stuff. Rings my bell. I don't know why, because I'm not a fan of it, but, just fascinated by how these things come to pass. And then the next book I picked up by Victor Serge is Midnight in the Century, translated, again, and with an introduction by Richard Grieman. slim little volume. In 1933, Victor Serge was arrested by Stalin's police, interrogated, and held in solitary confinement for more than 80 days. Released, he spent 2 years in exile in remote Orenburg. These experiences were the inspiration for Midnight in the Century, Serge's searching novel about revolutionaries living in the shadow of Stalin's betrayal of the revolution. Among the exiles gathered in the town of Chenor, or Blackwaters, are the granite-faced old Bolshevik Rzik, stoic yet gentle Varvara, and Rodion, a young self-educated worker who is trying to make sense of the world and history. They struggle in the unlikely company of Russian Orthodox old believers who are also suffering for their faith. Against unbelievable odds, the young Rodion will escape captivity and find a new life in the wild. Surviving the dark winter night of the soul, he rediscovers the only real and most radical form of resistance: hope. Again, you know me. This is something that I would really love to read. So great. I just need to have a year of reading Victor Serge, Vasily Grossman, and Alexander Solzhenitsyn. That alone would keep me busy for an entire year. I've got the 3 volumes unabridged of the Gulag Archipelago right there. Right, Peggy? Why can't I figure this out? It's inverse. Right there. These 3 volumes. I've got his Red Wheel Cycle, Solzhenitsyn. Of course, I've got the works by Grossman, Life and Fate, Stalingrad, along with a couple of other books that the NYRB Classics have put out from Vasily Grossman. So just a whole year. I just need to take a year off from everything to read those. Okay, we'll stick once more with another Russian here. And this is one by a writer I have never read before, but I did a little research before I bought this book, and I was like, you know what? Sounds again right up my alley. That's the theme. You know, I should probably make the title of this video Right Up Peg's That sounds bad. We're not going to call it that. Right Up My Alley books. But no. This is Memories from Moscow to the Black Sea by Teffy. Introduction by Edith Haber. And it's translated from the Russian by Robert and Elizabeth Chandler, Anne-Marie Jackson, and Irina Steinberg. And it's interesting, the back has a blurb from Antony Beevor. He's one of my favorite World War II historians, where he says, "I never imagined such a memoir could be possible, especially about the Russian Civil War." There we go. There's the theme here. Teffy wears her wisdom lightly, observing farce and foible amid the looming tragedy in this enthralling book. And that is from Antony Beevor. But let me go ahead and read you the actual jacket description. Considered Teffy's single greatest work, Memories from Moscow to the Black Sea, is a deeply personal account of the author's last months in Russia and Ukraine, suffused with her acute awareness of the political currents churning around her, many of which have now resurfaced. In 1918, in the immediate aftermath of the Russian Revolution, Teffy, whose stories and journalism had made her a celebrity in Moscow, was invited to read from her work in Ukraine. She accepted the invitation eagerly, though she had every intention of returning home. As it happened, her trip ended 4 years later in Paris, where she would spend the rest of her life in exile. None of this was foreseeable when she arrived in German-occupied Kiev to discover a hotbed of artistic energy and experimentation. When Kiev fell several months later to Ukrainian nationalists, Teffy fled south to Odessa, then on to the port of Novorossiysk, from which she embarked at last for Constantinople. Danger and death threaten throughout Memories, even as the book displays the brilliant style, keen eye, comic gift, and deep feeling that have made Teffy one of the most beloved of 20th century Russian writers. And she has another book that I think I was thinking of getting. Still might, maybe for the next flash sale. So I picked up this. It just sounded great. Also, I think now I have read about her in a recent book that I reviewed, I think for Shelf Awareness last year. I think. It was after the Romanovs. Um, is that the one? Helen Rappaport. She's written several books about before, during, and after the Romanovs. I mean, the flight of the Romanovs, the capture, the Romanov sisters. But anyway, I think it was about the exiles, about the intellectual exiles after the Romanovs fell, who fled the terror, fled the Russian Revolution. And Teffy, I think, was mentioned because she did die in Paris in exile. And it was all centered around who was in Paris at the time. So it was a really great book. Love Helen Rappaport's work. I love her body of work on that topic in particular, that period of time. So yeah, I figured I should definitely read Teffy. That should be part of my my knowledge base there. And then the last book, just what can I say? You know me, I like to have. I'm a little bit of a. I'm not gonna lie. In the last few years, I've kind of gotten into true crime a little bit. I've reviewed several books on true crime, and I like some of the shows that Netflix and some of the other places have put on. Not the sensationalized one, but just deeply reported ones. And this just, I don't want to say it looked like a fun read, not especially when you look at this cover. But it's a nice big thick book that just, I don't know, kind of takes you into the world of detectives and solving crimes and mysteries. And I love mysteries, and I do read detective novels and follow my favorite series. This is called Classic Crimes by William Ruffhead, or Ruffed. Introduction by Luc Sante. And I'm hoping this is not, I hope this is a staged photo from the 1800s, but it may not be. I don't know. Whoa! So, I mean, she's laid out. I mean, she is laid out cold. I don't know if they staged that or what's going on here, but it could be one of the first photos of like crime scene photos taken in the 1800s. Kind of looks like Lizzie Borden's stepmother there, but she was killed up in the upstairs bedroom next to a bed, so that's not it. Anyway, see, this is a big, thick book. I think I'd seen it before and I just never decided to get it, but this time I did. So what are we looking at here? Dorothy Sayers, called William Ruffed, or Ruff. It says, I mean, there's only one H, so it's not like Ruffed, whatever. She calls him the best showman who ever stood before the door of the Chamber of Horrors, and his true crime stories, written in the early 1900s, are among the glories of the genre. Displaying a meticulous command of evidence and unerring dramatic flair, Ruffed brings to life some of the most notorious crimes and extraordinary trials of 18th and 19th century England and Scotland. Utterly engrossing. These accounts of premeditated mayhem and miscarried justice also cast a powerful light on the evil that human beings and human institutions find both tempting to contemplate and all too easy to do. And this book even has a blurb from Joyce Carol Oates, where she says, intelligence, skepticism, and a flair for old-fashioned storytelling. Let's see what kind of things he covers in this book. Wow, many of these I've never heard of before. We've got Deacon Brodie, Dr. Pritchard Revisited, the Aaron Murder, the Slatter Case, the Merritt Mystery, the Sandyford Mystery, Constant Kent's Conscience. So these could be all new stories that I've never heard of before, and it just sounded like I could just lose myself for an entire afternoon in this book. So, Classic Crimes by William Ruffhead, or Ruffed, whatever you choose. So another just great little stack to add to my collection of NYRB classics. So let me know, you guys, what you think. I will show you 4 more that I picked up in addition in my Harvard bookstore online flash sale video, which should be coming pretty soon. But look at this. We have set records. I am at the 20-minute mark. Do you like the shorter videos? I'm almost physically impossible or incapable of making these short videos, and I feel weird when I make short videos. I don't know why. But we're going to keep it at 20 minutes, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Appreciate all your love, support, comments, and just enjoy your day out there, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.